I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Good evening, Clark, and it's the big metal detecting show. Hope you're all fine and dandy. It's nice to have you here. Good evening to everybody already watching, and hello from Luke as well in the background. Well, we've had quite a busy week this week. I'm going to go straight to the share screen. In fact, no, I'm not. First and foremost, my thoughts and a lot of other people's thoughts today have been with Stephen Gray. Sadly, his wife Rachel passed away a couple of weeks ago and she was buried today. So we hope Stephen and the family and everybody connected to Rachel and himself are doing as well as they can. And that's from both myself and Luke and a lot of the metal detectorists in the community who are watching tonight as well. So thoughts are with you, pal. Straight away, I'm going to go onto the share screen. And we're going to have a look at this week's news. Now, this week's news, there was one absolute massive piece of news, and it was that of Mr. Forrest Fenn. Now, Forrest Fenn, he's a man who's got a substantial amount of money, and he apparently buried a treasure chest some years ago, 10 years ago. Now, we've been following this for 4 years. There's been a lot of people who've passed away, and he originally came and wrote a poem to give the whereabouts. It's called The Thrill of the Chase, the book that it was from. People have been searching for it for quite some time, and apparently the chest was found on June 6th. And he wrote, "It was under the canopy of stars in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains, had it not been moved from the spot where I hid it 10 years previously. I do not know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to the precise spot. I congratulate the thousands of people who participated in the search and hope they will continue to be drawn by the promise of other discoveries." So the search is over. Look out for more information and photos in the coming days. There's a lot of scorn been poured upon it, and we await to see if it's factual or not. So there you go, Forrest Fenn. Now, following Tony Kaywood's show a couple of weeks ago at LiDAR and geohack and such like, I decided to put together a how-to guide for idiots like myself. So this was published this week: how to use LiDAR, geohack, tithe and old maps. And it gives you the I've researched it quite substantively. I've asked obviously Tony for his information, lots of other bits and bobs, and included all Tony's and our own videos as well for you to utilize. We've gone to our, obviously the website went down a couple of years ago, so there's a lot of things that still weren't updated. A couple of the ones were the Eric Van Daniken articles that we were given access to for promoting an event which he was involved with a couple of years ago. So we've uploaded all them again under pseudo archaeology. A book review. I finally got around to doing the book review for the prehistoric archaeology of the A477 St. Clears to Red Roses Road Improvement Scheme, which was a fantastic book and very, very worthwhile having for definitely research purposes and identification of artifacts. Today I've put another couple of old ones on. Who Built the Pyramids, Molly Lee, The Witch of Burslem, and I've got a few more. I think we've got about 7 more scheduled for the coming couple of weeks. But then there's this little baby, the Dig Ventures course. Now, we spoke last week with Adrian Gaylor, who's also doing the course, and with Tony Kaywood too. And I know there's several other metal detectorists who signed up for this free course, which can still be signed up to and started. And it's absolutely fascinating. I've learned so much. I mean, what I write in this, people don't realise that I was involved with CWP, the Celtic Warrington Project, which was an archaeology team back in the early noughties, and I was involved with quite a few archaeology projects, Llanarmon and Yal and Ruthin in North Wales, and Caergurley Castle, and also private residences in Manley and Appleton Thorn in Cheshire. So quite a lot of hours under my belt. But actually, that was in the field. So when it comes to doing something course-based, I learned a hell of a lot already. I really have, and I can't. Well, I've sent this review over to Dig Ventures to show them how good I think it is and how good it should be for people like myself and yourself to consider doing it as well, because you're not just learning about archaeology, but you think about some of the landscapes that the terrain that we're involved with as metal detectorists, and the history, and being able to identify different strata levels in the soil and such like as well. It's a very, very valuable thing for us to do as metal detectorists, I believe, and to obviously help bring that community of archaeologists and metal detectorists closer together. So multiple things that have been added to the site this week, and we've got more coming up. So I think that covers everything. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There's one or two other things. I'm going to revert to a message. Nick West contacted me, and he asked me would I be able to give out some details for him. So many groups raise money for veterans charities. I would like Metal Detecting War Relics Group, which he's the owner of, or one of the editors of, Relics Group, to do it for Military Archaeology Legenda Latvia. We have 5,000 members in the group now, so we have the potential to raise some decent funds. Legenda have now found over 10,000 missing soldiers and given them a proper burial. I'm looking for prizes, and if there is anyone who would like to donate to prize, he'd be very grateful. He's thinking of doing a grid of 200 squares each with a number. Each square will have a prize behind it. Most prizes will be stickers, patches, mugs, etc. And a couple of the big prizes, each square will cost £10. So that's the Metal Detecting War Relics Facebook group. If you can pop over and have a look at there, which outside of normal metal detecting, some of the finds on there are absolutely stunning. They really are. And again, a lot of things where people are doing the research and getting some of the finds back to the people's families who own them before they sadly were killed in the wars. So that's that. And the other one, I conducted a live Zoom interview yesterday with one of the production companies who, I think it's actually the production company, who are working with the History Channel. In particular, this interview regarded the recent program Lost Relics of the Knights Templar, and it was I thought it was an absolutely brilliant series. I really do. I've spoken to Hamilton and Cole from the program at length, and what they have planned for the future of the next season and other future things is quite fantastic. So I had I think I was on for nearly an hour chatting to the lady, and also potentially things that myself, Luke and Archaeology Metal Detecting Magazine may be involved in the future. Some of these things don't come off, as we've found in the past, but there is potential. So History Channel, we're looking at you. And if you haven't watched Lost Relics of the Knights Templar, please do so, because it was fantastic. Just seeing in the group there, Sky Jackson's saying, how good is the Simplex? It's absolutely fantastic. I'm a complete amateur, but I can use it, and it's finding fantastic things. Hello, Alex Savage, John Clayton, Ambient Girl Relic Hunter. I've not seen you in before. Nice to see you there. And MS Detectorists, Petakun, Adrian Terrell. Hello to everybody. So, without further ado, may I introduce tonight's guest. Tonight's guest is Scott Holden from the newly created Detector Network. We're going to find out a lot more about it, what it is, what's the potential it's going to become, and a lot more. And we're also going to be joined with Adrian Gaylor too, because Adrian's been working behind the scenes with Detector Network for a period of time now. So, Scott, nice to meet you tonight. How are you?
Good evening. Very well, thanks. Thanks very much for having me on the show.
And Adrian, hello to you. You're looking white as a ghost there.
Yeah, I think I've got problems with my makeup tonight. I put too much foundation on.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
It could be probably better. Yeah.
Oh, you've obviously put some rouge on there now.
Yeah, a little bit of rouge, red wine rouge. Evening, everyone.
So, Adrian, most people who are watching tonight, we obviously saw you last week, so they know all about yourself. So we'll come back to you in a short period. Okay. Scott, please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Scott. I'm co-founder and managing director of Detector Network. I'm a web developer, a digital agency owner, and I've been in the digital industry for the last 10 years. And my brother Ashley is a keen detectorist. He's also co-founder of Detector Network as well.
So tell us a bit more about Detector Network, why it was formed, what the concept is currently, and we'll go on to the rest in a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So we were sort of catching up recently during the pandemic, and quite bored. There's not a lot to do. And Ashley was explaining that he couldn't go out detecting. So being quite a keen detectorist, he was still keen to discuss metal detecting online. And so he did a little bit of research and looked at all the forums and noticed that they were quite old, antiquated, and a bit hard to use as well. And I thought, instead of watching the news 24/7, maybe it would be a good idea to come up with a new project, a new website that would be easy to use on a mobile, maybe similar to Facebook as well. I'm also quite, I know that there's a lot of concern about data privacy on Facebook as well and other social media sites. So I thought we'd just research to see if we could do something better, really. Another thought was, if you post a valuable find on Facebook, because Facebook hold a lot of personal information about you and not everyone uses the privacy controls, you could be at risk of having that stolen potentially, whereas you wouldn't have that risk on, say, another site, say Detector Network. So we just started drafting up ideas, and we came up with the brand Detector Network. We launched the MVP, minimum viable product, on the 8th of May. Since then, we've had 400 signups worldwide. It's been 99% positive feedback so far, which is great. We've had signups from UK, USA, Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, Ukraine, and more. So it's been received well so far, which is great. So, and thank you to everyone that signed up to it so far as well. We're in the process of launching an Android app for it as well, which will make it a lot easier to use. It's quite mobile friendly at the moment, but the app will make it, it's exactly like Facebook, except it's specifically for metal detecting enthusiasts. And we'll be releasing the iPhone version after that as well. So that's a basic overview of what Detector Network is.
Brilliant. Well, obviously, I signed up a couple of weeks ago. I've spoken with you on the telephone about it. I've spoke about it briefly with Adrian last week. And yeah, I can confirm it is, as I've said, Facebook for metal detecting. And it's something that can be utilised fantastically. It at the moment, Facebook is filled with things that get on a lot of people's wick, wind people up. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of argument. There's people getting deleted by friends left, right, and centre. And it is a good place just solely for metal detectorists. Now, as I've said to you, when you were talking about feedback, I'll be honest, one of the issues I had was that I couldn't quite grasp how to do certain things. I messaged Adrian a number of times asking him to assist in a certain area, which turned out to be easy, but it was only when I sat down and looked at it properly that I realised how to do certain things. Now, again, we spoke and you said about the app that's being launched in the very near future, which if it's transferring Facebook from what I see on the big screen now onto the mobile phone, it's a lot easier on the mobile phone now, I feel, than it is onto the computer screen itself. So I believe that it, more or less from what you've told me, the app will be as easily used as the as Facebook is on your mobile phone.
That's right. Yeah, the main bit when you open the app will be the activity feed, the news feed. It's exactly the same as Facebook, and you can scroll up and down with your followers. You can go and look at people's profiles. You can access the groups quite easily as well. I'll run through all the features of the site shortly, but it is very easy to use. I think it will be quite popular. It's been quite popular so far, but I think when we launch the app, it's in review at the moment with Play Store, so it should be released in about a week. I think quite a lot of people will download it, and because they're used to using Facebook already, I think they'll be able to pick it up quite quickly.
Hence me, the world's biggest idiot when it comes to technology. Yeah, I can't wait for, and I will use it more when it comes out as an app, because I always forget to use it in my bookmarks on my phone. So having that application able to open it straight away, it may actually bring me away from Facebook more so, because over this pandemic, I've found myself, if I go to the time scale used on my phone now, I'll see it's probably stupid amounts of hours daily on Facebook because I'm bored. I've got nothing else to do. I just switch it on. I'll get that. Yeah. I'll be able to personally, not so much spam it, but I'll be able to add more content personally to my own profile as it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's important to note as well that a lot of the younger generation seem to be moving towards using separate apps as well, as opposed to just Facebook. I think sort of they are moving away from that. So I think Detector Network, bringing new people to the hobby, I think Detector Network may be quite successful in doing that, which will be great as well when we launch the app.
Now, one area I am keen to see when it occurs in the near future, there's actually an app which I think it's Meetups or something not dissimilar that Detectable put their information on every year. Myself, many other people go on there, and people are putting all their finds and information about what they're doing at Detectable, etc., etc. So to actually see something like Detectable pop up on the brand in the future on the app will again make it a hell of a lot more easier for people to come together as a community and look at things Detectable related. And I'm just using Detectable as an idea for now.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic as well. That ties into the groups functionality. So, I mean, I'll just briefly run through the main features of the site now, and obviously it'll be the same on the app as well. You can create your own profile, the same as Facebook. And you can choose your current metal detector, your metal detecting club, if you're in one. And you can post up your finds on your news feed, and you can follow other people. You can chat live with other members and your followers as well. You can create and manage like pages similar to Facebook. So if you have a business or a shop, you have merchandise or a YouTube channel, you can create a like page where you can post up links to your YouTube videos and have people. You're more likely to get a following, the sort of following you want within the metal detecting community on your YouTube channel. So that would be quite good. Where I think it would be quite powerful is you can create public and private groups. So, for example, if you have a public group for Detectable and you have people submitting live streams whilst they're at Detectable, and it gets saved onto the newsfeed inside the Detectable group, and you can have live commentary on your live streams as well on the video, I think that would be quite good. People can update with pictures, other media, different text. There's also different things you can do with public groups. So I think that'll be great for events and rallies. And for private groups, if you have a metal detecting club, you might not want all of your information open to the wider community. So you can use private groups for that as well. And for any reason that you want, really, for the community. You can also write and publish articles, which I know you can't necessarily do too easily on other social media platforms. And the benefit with that is if you write and publish articles on Detector Network, there's a high chance that it can be picked up by other websites and maybe other publications as well. So I think that will be quite popular. We've got a marketplace feature as well, so you can put up fines and second-hand detecting equipment at no fee. So that might be quite popular. And of course, live streaming and mobile live streaming will be, I think, quite popular if you're out detecting, or if you're on the beach or something, and you can live stream a find and you can have live commentary, and you can also save that onto your news feed and then take that off of Detector Network and put it on other social media platforms as well. So that's quite a new feature. We're quite looking forward to seeing that used as well. The day and night mode is quite popular as well. Obviously on Facebook, you've only got sort of a blue day mode, but the night mode seems to be quite popular on Detector Network at the moment as well. So I'd advise you to check that out.
Now, I actually have a question, the one that I actually didn't come up with, but it's a good question. And it's one that, because of everything else that we see, ourselves included, we sadly have to fall into that banner occasionally. Alex Savage asks, will the website and app be full of advertising from detecting companies?
There's no ads at the moment. Obviously, at some point, we will look to monetize, but for as long as I can have it ad-free, essentially, Detector Network is for the community. And the purpose of it is to add as much value to detectorists worldwide as possible. So for as long as we can keep it ad-free, monetize with merch, we can have brand ambassadors as well. But there are different things that we can do in order to make it a good experience. But the number one goal of Detector Network, otherwise it won't work, is for it to add value to the community. So yeah, that's a valid point, and that's why at the moment there are no ads. It's completely free to use. We will introduce certain paid features, but those paid features will be to the benefit of the users of Detector Network.
Mm-hmm. Now, both myself and Luke, as I say, are part of this. Luke's only really had opportunity to get on today to look at the site in depth, and he's very impressed, as am I. Last week, after the show, I think, Adrian set up a big metal detecting show page because I'm stupid, and we got that running, although as yet I've not been back on to have a look because I'm not 100% sure, but we do have a big metal detecting show page on there, so not 100% where, and that's Luke doing that, and I'm looking anyway. So Adrian, yes. What has your part been up to now in the Detector Network?
Right. Well, basically, as Scott was saying, when lockdown was on, and I got fed up with looking at everything about blinking coronavirus and all the rubbish going on about it. And like everyone, I went back to the forums that I used to go on quite often, and I just thought, oh, these are so clunky, and they don't work on your mobile phone, a lot of them. They're not optimized. You've got to zoom in, and then there's lots of threads. And I just thought, Christ. And one of them, I won't mention the name, wouldn't let me back in because I hadn't posted in the last 6 months. So I tried to resubscribe and they wouldn't let me in. So that really annoyed me. And then I was on Instagram and I saw Detector Network pop up and it had like 3 followers. And I thought, oh, this is some dodgy sort of scam in, I won't mention the country, but it could be anywhere. And I followed it and then I researched it a bit. And the site, I think, Scott, had only been live for probably a week. I signed up and I thought, oh, this looks nice. This is like Facebook. I'm not a lover of Facebook, purely down to the issues that Scott raised. The medieval ring I found a few years ago, last year, is currently with the British Museum for being valued and stuff. And that went on Facebook. And as soon as that went on Facebook, I had hell and all friends, family, everyone. Oh, how much is it worth? Where did you find it? And I just thought, I don't want that. I want people to come back to me and say, that's interesting. What age is it from? Oh, what's the history behind it? And with Detector Network, it's a prime sort of place where if you want to see a cat jumping over a tree and doing a somersault 3 times, fine, Facebook's great. I don't want to see that. I want to talk about metal detecting and learn and listen to people. And Detector Network is completely full of that. And one thing which Alex Savage, I noticed, put in the comments about the advertising, there is no advertising. It's free, free to use. Going forward, like Scott said, naturally they're going to have to get their money back eventually over a period of time. So there will be ways of creating revenue streams from merchandise. But I just thought for a hobby that is as popular as it is and is as big and growing as it is, it's so refreshing for someone to actually develop something with the skills Scott's got for us as a hobby. Because we all go out every weekend with our metal detectors. We get our magazines. We go online to Archie Mag and look at stories and information. But for something to be developed, which I know personally in my line of business would cost many thousands of pounds to develop if you went to an agency with a lot, probably takes 6 months to a year to get launched. Scott and his brother, because of their love of metal detecting, have just launched it in a couple of weeks. And with the Android, or is it Android and iOS, Scott?
Yes, it will be. Yeah.
The app, to have an app on your phone is great. Rather than go to Google Chrome or whatever and launch it and bookmark it, like you said, Dave, to have an app that just gives you alerts and notifications, rather than it's Keith's birthday tomorrow, which certain, do you know what I mean? Or Dave's just shared a picture of himself with his pants down in the garden. I don't want all that sort of stuff. I just want to. Well, yeah. I just want to get. Simplex just released a software update, and there's an alert that comes up on Detector Network, and everyone comments on it. And it from what I've seen on the site so far, there's no political. There's no. It's just pure metal detecting. And I've seen it growing, and I'm really enjoying it. And I signed up anyway. What was it, 3 weeks ago, Scott? 4 weeks ago, I signed up.
Something like that.
Yeah. And I sent a personal message to Scott saying, thank you very much for doing this. And he said, no, thanks for coming on board. I wrote an article on there on the route us all to 71, this is another thing nice with the site. You can have articles on there which you can publish, clubs. And I think going forward, there's a lot of new features you're looking at adding, Scott, which you've asked for feedback on.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to improve it as much as we can.
One of them, for example, was, let's say Dave and Luke's Metal Detecting Club want to organise a rally in a couple of weeks' time. There's always this issue with rallies I've always found a bit clunky. You sign up, you say, I want to go to this event, and it takes 100 people. You end up emailing someone, then you get an email back, then you get a BACS banking information, and you pay via BACS, and then you get an email back saying that you print this out and show it at the. It would be so nice if there was a site which had a way of booking your place on a rally or an event or a dig, and paying through one payment source, getting a receipt, and you just show it at the day on your phone. And I think that's something like Detector Network potentially do going forward. So, hats off to the guys for bringing something modern into our hobby. And I think also what Scott was saying about young people, I've got 2 kids. They don't go on Facebook. That's for mum and dad talking about rubbish that we normally talk about, and dad putting pictures of coins
naked
up.
in the garden.
Yeah, Dave naked in the garden. Getting not too technical, the demographics of the population is changing. So the young detectorists aren't going to be looking on Facebook. They're going to be looking on Instagram, Snapchat, or a platform that specialises in that sort of thing. And with an app, they all have blinking apps, TikTok, Instagram, and everything. So if they've got an app they can dedicate to metal detecting, someone who's 17, 18, 19, 20, it's more of an interest to them. And for our hobby, I'm passionate about it like everyone else. We've got to think of the young people coming up in the hobby and teaching them to do things the right way, not to go night hawking, making sure they fill in their holes, making sure they report their fines, and stuff. So this is a great way of getting across to them.
It is. Luke, would you be able to run across the banner at the bottom for the link to Detector Network, please, if you can? Scott Ashley's come on, your brother, and he said, while me and Scott both came up with the idea, I wouldn't have had a chance of getting it started on my own. It has only taken a few months from the start of the idea to this point, but Scott has been working on it pretty much 24/7. And I had to actually move Group to read that as well, because Group was in the way. There's also another comment from Ray Laidlaw, who says it's a shame people are already spamming their YouTube channels, and that is a bugbear of mine. Sadly, that is the case. It's going to happen. Maybe if there's a YouTube thread, which people could do that as opposed, because one of the things I can't be doing with on the Big Metal Detecting Show Facebook group is I keep having to delete people putting to YouTube, because that's not what it's about. It's not about the show. It's about people discussing, talking fines, not having to see YouTube, not people not using the group for other than putting their YouTube channel on. For people like Tony Kaywood, who's heavily involved in the group, is involved in conversation, etc., etc. He's fine and dandy to put his videos on there, but when it comes to spamming, it does my head in greatly, and I'm sure there are multiple other people as well like I think, that. So
that's a good point, Dave. Actually, because with I won't mention the name, but other social media channels, people can sign up and follow whether they're interested in metal detecting or not. So if I've got a friend of a friend and I post something on Facebook, anyone can comment. On Detector Network, you're only going to sign up if you're interested in metal detecting. So if it's a political issue or a news issue, you're less likely, I personally think, to get trolls. So, and if they are, I'm sure Scott's got a method of disinfecting them, as one would say.
Disinfecting, I would do like that.
That's a polite word. I'm giving them off.
I mean, I can go into more detail about that a little bit if you like, about the spamming and potential of that. So there's a reporting feature, as you would expect on any platform. So if you've got an issue of any content on there, you can report it and we'll review it. At the moment, it's manual, and obviously, while we have sort of maybe a few thousand users upward, we can manage that. But later on, we will look into having algorithms that stop potential spamming. We'll have sort of various sensors and things as well. So I'm very aware of the importance of keeping it pure and keeping it high quality. I think Detector Network is all about having it high quality and adding value to the community. Now, if someone wants to go on there and create a like page for their YouTube channel and spam some links on there, if you don't like that page, you won't see those updates in your news feed. So you don't need to worry about that. Also, if they sign up for a normal personal profile and they're spamming on there, I'll generally catch it quickly anyway. As Ashley said, I am on there 24/7, but I can remove that straight away. And also we can remove people from the platform at any time if we feel it's absolutely necessary, which we would obviously not want to do, but we do have that facility in place just in case. So I think it's going to be a case of trial and error, see how it goes, in the hope that most people, and so far it's been 100% great, I think, so far. It's been all right, but we will have provisions in place to deal with that. So,
well, I certainly promise to add a little more content. As I say, it's a matter of remembering with me because I don't. So I will strive to look at it a little bit more than I am. And after the show, obviously, because we're learning a little bit more. Obviously, I've spoke to you at length anyway, but given that we're speaking tonight and Luke can see everything that's going on, Luke and I will speak again after the show a little bit more about what we can do in relation to Detector Network. So I'm sure we'll be talking much about that, no doubt.
I've got a few questions for you, Scott.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah. Sure.
What size feet are? No, sorry. How many users can the site handle? So I know you've developed the site yourself, but if this takes off, is there obviously what's the background of it. If suddenly every single metal detectorist in the UK signed up, which I've forgotten, but it's probably in its hundreds of thousands easily. Can you handle that?
Yes. So I've thought about that, and I'm quite experienced in planning solutions that have longevity. So initially, when we built the site, we thought, okay, if we get a few hundred users, then it becomes valid and viable. And once we hit that point, if we do, which we did quite quickly, then we need to have it on what they call an auto-scalable cloud solution. So if we do get an influx of users, then the server will auto-scale to handle those users. So I think we could probably handle up to 100,000 users at the moment as it stands, because I've put all of that in place.
Cool.
We've got regular backups. It's very secure. We'll be adding two-factor authentication soon as well. You can sign in with Facebook and soon with Google. So it's secure, it's scalable. It should be able to handle up to, or maybe even over 100,000 users. And obviously, as we're monitoring it daily, mostly 24/7, we'll be able to counter any potential future issue we get of any bottlenecks with the network. So I'm quite confident that we should be able to be having thousands of people on there. It should be able to have that fine.
Security is quite a key issue nowadays with stuff. And I see there's a buy and sell thing on the site, which I love, because we have Facebook. On Facebook, for example, you have the ability to buy and sell stuff. But on Detector Network, there's a buy and sell section. Going forward, I presume at the moment, if I want to sell a metal detector or one of my 50 gold nobles that I haven't got, someone just contacts me via direct messaging and the payment's dealt with via me sending them a link on PayPal or something like that. Will there be a way in the future of people being able to sell stuff and get the money back or whatever through the site itself rather than having to use PayPal, etc.?
Yes, there will be. One of the conscious decisions I made whilst developing the system was, do I use PayPal or something else such as Stripe? For years, I've had problems with PayPal, and they have high fees as well, as a lot of people know. So I've chosen Stripe. In the back, so it's just a standard credit card processor. It's fully secure. And in the background, it's turned off at the moment, but we'll look at releasing it soon. There's a wallet feature on Detector Network where once I enable it for certain paid features, or if someone wants to sell an item on the platform, you upload money, so you transfer money into your wallet on Detector Network, and then you can use that as you see fit for either paid features, buying items, etc. What we may need to look at as well is if someone sells an item, holding that money in what they call escrow, where you receive the item, then the money is released. But at the moment, it works like Gumtree, so there isn't any payment mechanism there yet. You post your item, and then it's up to you at the moment to deal with that transaction. But we will be releasing that wallet feature soon as well. So hopefully that will come in handy.
That's okay. Thanks. That's an interesting point, actually, Dave. Scott. Dave, just so you know,
Yes.
Scott, I don't know if many detectorists are aware of this or anyone wants to mention anything in the chat, but I sold a detector not too long ago on eBay. Should I mention the word? Yeah, I've mentioned it. And the guy said he never received it. And this is a common scam going on eBay. And I've spoken to 2 other detectorists who've had this. So you have a machine, sell it on eBay, send it to the person, get a proof of delivery signature from Royal Mail, UPS or whatever, and the guy contests the issue on PayPal and says, I didn't receive my item. PayPal say provide evidence, so I provided the signature. The guy then came back and said, yeah, I got it, but it didn't work. So I went, okay. So I spoke to PayPal and they said, as long as he sends it back to you, you'll get a full refund. So I said, okay, it's fine. So I went to the post office, sat in the car, and the housing manager, wife, went in and collected this recorded delivery metal detector to come back to me. She went in, signed for it, got back to the car and gave me an A4 brown envelope with £7.60 worth of postage on it. I opened it up, had nothing in it. And because it's linked to the Royal Mail PayPal's linked to the Royal Mail delivery system and UPS and all the others, they saw it as I'd signed for it and received the goods back. So they refunded the buyer the money back, whereas he'd actually scanned me and sent an envelope. And when I contacted PayPal, they said, "Oh well, he paid £7 something for the postage, so that covered the cost of the weight of the machine." And I'm just warning people about this because it's quite an issue, and it took 3-4 months for me to provide evidence. I had to go to the manufacturer of the metal detector and get dimensions of the packaging, and then send that to PayPal. So it's a little scam that's going on at the moment. So if you're selling an Equinox 800 for 700 quid, that can be a lot of money. So I don't know if anyone had heard about that.
I'm actually gobsmacked at that. I was like that all the way through that.
Well, it's clever, isn't it?
Jaw-dropping. It is very,
absolutely going mad, but it's very clever because the way the technology works, because he'd paid £7 for postage on an empty envelope, their system saw it as a large parcel. I signed for it, and it's absolutely. He didn't live too far away from you, actually, Dave. It might be you. So no, but yeah, it's. I've spoken to 2 other detectorists or on a forum about this same issue. So it's something just to be aware of when you're selling a machine online.
Yeah. Well, I think we are due to have an advert break shortly. I think it's usually at this time. Let me just see if Luke kicks in. If not, I'll carry on talking for a moment. If I get cut off now, we are due adverts, but if we get cut off, don't worry about it. It's just our usual advertising break. Scott, when it comes to the site crashing and such like, I think it was about 3 years ago now, we were using a different company than we are now using for the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine website. We had 1.7 million hits in a year, which obviously is a stupid amount of hits. We're not that close anymore because we're doing things a hell of a lot differently and relying on other sources. But it crashed. It crashed multiple times due to that high amount of hits. Will you be able to if I'm not saying you're going to have 1.7 million members, but 1.7 million individual users of the app and the site, will your system be able to cope with that?
It can cope to, at the moment, the current architecture, it could probably handle up to 1 million. In terms of hits, if you have something, it's called a denial of service attack. If you get a lot of hits to your website very quickly, it's like a bottleneck, sort of imagine like this, and there's too much data trying to go through and it will crash. So we use something called Cloudflare, which caches the website. So if there is an issue, it will block connections from certain IP addresses so if they try and connect to it too much. So that infrastructure is in place. I have considered that, but we will look at improving that as it grows as well. So that's a lot of, it's called DevOps. There's a lot of stuff that I do as well.
Well, if you see me looking down, I'm generally getting questions off Luke to ask, and he was just prompting me on that one. So
no worries. Yeah.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
I do like the new videos, Luke, but A, you make my nose look big. And also, you caught me drinking homemade Polish vodka that was forced upon me, honest Gov.
Yeah.
And Mr. Gaylor made an appearance in the trailer
Thank
as
you.
well.
Yeah, with the lovely I've forgotten the bloody name. Viola and
Yes.
Eric from Team
Team
Rooters or
Rooters.
Rooters.
Yes,
Harry,
Rooters.
yeah, who are going to be bringing out a new machine very soon, which I'm
Fantastic.
so excited about. So excited about.
I think a lot of the Rooters users will be very, very excited about that.
Well,
looking in the chat room. Sorry, Adrian, carry on.
sorry, no, I just dream about things like it's got a colour screen on it.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and there's I love my routers through and through. I really, really do. And with the new one coming out, that's hopefully going to be slimmer, rechargeable, and have a lot of features on it. I'm really, really excited about it. I love the machine, the tones, and everything. So, yeah, interesting times towards the end of this year.
Jumping over to the chat room, there's one off Mr. Pettican who says, "Have I ate all that popcorn yet?" Now, for those of you who don't know, I've got to give you a little bit of a tip now. If you go to scottcinemas.co.uk, they're currently selling off movie package, a movie package, because obviously cinemas aren't open. They're selling off all their stock at much reduced rate. So I received a goddamn massive box the other day, and I mean massive. And in it were 2.2 kilograms of sweet cinema popcorn, 2 massive 800-gram bags of nachos, 4 dips, 2 massive bags of crisps, a candy floss, a popcorn tea, tin, and multiple other things, all for 20 English pounds. So thank you for that, Mr. Pettican. I've not had it yet. We haven't had a film night because the daughter doesn't come out of a bedroom anymore, so we're waiting for that to occur. Back into the network, Alex Savage said, when receiving an item back, he always takes a video of him opening the parcel, evidence for PayPal.
Yeah.
Paul Green says to Scott, I know this is a free network at the moment for us to use, but could there be a monthly fee? Small amounts, say £1 or equivalent currency amount to improve the site for us all to use. On your behalf, Scott, I'd say I personally like the fact that it is a free network and we don't have to pay, because then we'd all start, even if it's £1 a month, you'd still end up going back to Facebook, no doubt. But what would your opinion be, Scott?
Well, I do have a plan for that. It is free. It'll always be free. The majority of the features will be free. But we're considering introducing sort of pro-level memberships where you'll have a few benefits, such as you'll become a featured member, you'll become verified easier, so you get a verified badge. There might be a few other benefits, such as if you have a page, you might be able to boost it, so it'll appear randomly in news feeds. So there'll be a few features there. We haven't finished that off yet, and we need to make sure, first and foremost, that the quality of the network comes first, and it needs to be fair. But there will be pro-level memberships available soon, where you can support Detector Network with monthly fees as well.
I think on that point of Scott saying that, I think it'd be interesting to listen. People tonight watching, if they just sign up, go on the site and see how they would like to see the what did you say, pro sign up or something?
Pro level, yeah.
Pro level, how they'd like to see that evolve if they were to pay £100, £10, £1,000, whatever, a month, because obviously there's a lot of people out there who've got YouTube channels. Some people rely on it as an income, so paying that a month isn't a bad thing, I don't think. But it'd be interesting what people say in the chat on what they'd like to see to enable them to have a pro channel. I think after the things Scott said, it would be quite interesting.
It certainly would. I mean,
yeah.
we've got that feature on Facebook, but we're restricted to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. If we were to post a news item, which I made an announcement yesterday saying we weren't going to put any more news articles related to statues for obvious reasons, the whole everything that's going on, because generally I think we shared a post a while ago, something to do with the American government destroying archaeological features. and it was picked up at the same time as there was a political campaign ongoing. And because Facebook, obviously, look out for that, we got banned from actually being able to post on our Facebook page because of something we'd shared regarding a news item from a big, well-known multimedia company, just because it was calling the American government detrimentally. So, yeah, you know,
Thankfully,
we've
you won't get any of that on Detector Network. So
no. But as I'm saying, that's just solely, you know, one of the reasons why we would like to look for other sources. One of the things I'd like to ask you, Scott, and obviously I know you'd be more than willing to be able to do that, but the feature that we're using, the site that we are using currently to produce this video, we automatically send that out it automatically appears on YouTube and it automatically appears on our Facebook page, plus several other groups. Would there be a way of doing that so there's an automatic published version on Detector Network?
yes, and that's something that I'd love to make happen, and I'm working on that at the moment as well. So we've just released the desktop live streaming. So at the moment, you can simply live stream, and you'll be able to do it from the app, and it will appear on your newsfeed. However, they call it co-hosting, like we're doing now, where you can bring in other parties. That would be amazing to be able to bring you across to Detector Network, and then enable you to post that out on other platforms as well. So that's something that I am working on at the moment.
In the meantime, for instance, if I was to take the YouTube feed for this, the YouTube link, and share it in my feed, would that automatically play as the show is as a live show, or would it come up later as a YouTube video after the event?
Right now, it will come
Gonna
up
have
later.
to try it, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll give it a go. But right now, it would probably come up later. But I would like to introduce as much of the live features as I can, because I think it would be quite valuable for metal detecting. So,
is that
what
right?
I'm going to do while you two talk for a second, I'm just gonna actually attempt to do that.
Right. Scott, so to get this right, with the app going forward when it's launched, I can live stream. If I've got a good signal on my machine, I can live stream that onto Detector Network whilst I'm digging it, bring it out, film it, and that will show live on Detector Network. Can I then download that as a file to edit in YouTube for YouTube or share on other social media channels?
yes, you can. Yeah, we use Amazon S3 for data storage at the moment, so you can download it after the fact, which I think will be great if you want to upload it onto YouTube and so forth. So you can do that, and I think the live commentary feature will be quite popular as well. And once the live feed is over, it gets saved to your news feed, and the live commentary converts into standard comments on the post. So it retains all of that data as well. So,
oh wow, that's pretty cool. Is there a limit on the amount of time a live stream can last?
no, there's no limit.
I could film myself detecting for 8 hours or 10 hours.
You could do. It would cost quite a lot, but we can do it. It's not a problem. It's all geared up for that.
Well, you'll be very, very glad to know that I have posted it onto the Detector Network, and it has worked. It appears on there. It only appears as a standard video. It's not playing unless you press play. I press play on it, and it's actually now, so it's live now. So, yeah,
right.
We, if that's all right with you, Scott, obviously we can include that on the Detector Network weekly, and obviously you can promote it if you wish to, or point people towards it, and or even we'll be able, if you can throw an advert together for the Detector Network, say a 10-20 second video, we'll obviously be able to use that as part of our intro and adverts and such like.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that sounds good.
And it's less laggier than YouTube.
It actually is. I've just, as I say, I think it's because there aren't millions of people on there. There's only you use a small amount of data regarding the whole of the site. I think it's streaming perfectly well.
Yeah, the architecture of Detector Network is obviously different to that of YouTube. Obviously, they do have a lot more users, but it is quite fast. We built it that way. The caching is set up right as well, so it should hopefully remain fast for at least the foreseeable future. And then if it does get laggy, we'll address that issue if it comes up as well. So yeah, very, very happy that works well.
Scott, out of interest, your brother's a detectorist, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What machines do you use out of interest? Just
He's got an Equinox 800 at the moment.
okay. And has he had any good finds with it?
Sorry, you broke up there.
Has he got? Does he post his finds on Detector Network? I presume he does.
He has done, yeah, not recently, because as you can imagine, we've been quite busy with getting up and running. But yeah, he will be. He's on there as Ashley Holden. You can go and follow him on Detector Network now as well.
Okay. How has this changed because being a software developer, you're out of the bubble of our little metal detecting network. How has this changed how you view metal detecting and metal detectorists? Have you realised that there is more of an interest in the hobby, and is it something you potentially want to get involved in?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I've always been interested in all sorts of subjects and interests as well. But I enjoy history and I love seeing all the finds. And I think seeing everyone getting so excited and passionate about the hobby has rubbed off on me a little bit. So it's probably only a matter of time before I give it a good go. I think that'll be great. If I give it a good go, I could post some footage up on the site as well and get involved more in the community in that way. So I think that will add value as well.
Yeah. He should get out there, shouldn't he, Dave?
Certainly should. Your brother's got 2 machines. Ashley, take him.
Yeah, go on. Get
I've had a good look at the events as well, at Detectable, etc. And I think if we get more users and it does gain interest, Detector Network, we'd love to go to those events and showcase Detector Network and get involved at that level as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
What level of? Sorry, Dave, I'm not taking the show.
No, go on, crack on.
Questions. What sort of people have you had? Because in our hobby, we have obviously Treasure Hunting magazine. I field test machines for them, and we naturally signed up with Detector Network because we see it as a way forward for a lot of the audience who aren't on Facebook. But what other companies have you had signing up to the platform? Or people.
Talk about stealing my thunder.
Sorry, Dave. God. You're talking about pop.
So I'm proud to. I think we've got a little bit of lag there. So I'm proud to say that we're due to be published in Treasure Hunting magazine in the coming weeks, and also the Searcher magazine as well. Detectorists magazine based in the US, and quite a few more as well. So we've had quite a lot of interest. LP Metal Detecting are on board as well. There are quite a lot of interested parties on the platform already, and we've been live just over a month, I think. So it's so far so good.
Okay, so I suppose, yeah. Sorry, Dave. I'll let you carry on.
No, I was actually going to ask that question. What companies are actually on board at the moment? So you've answered that question, no problem. I'm just actually I'm doing what I do and getting sidetracked because we know I do by looking at the Detector Network, and it's proven to me that it is a hell of a lot more easy for me to use personally on a computer screen than it is on my mobile phone. So. Yeah, it looks so much better on there than it does on a mobile phone. I'm not saying it doesn't look good on a mobile phone, but for me personally, it's far better, apart from all the YouTube videos that are currently on there. So yes, as we can see there on screen at the moment, is there anything that you want to talk people through in relation to what you can see on the screen currently?
Yeah, I mean, maybe for now, I mean, this won't matter so much when the app comes out, because the app will be highly intuitive and it will be obvious how to do everything anyway. But on the desktop version, you've got everything on the left. So you've got groups, pages, articles, market, so on and so forth. So you've got the audio sections on the left, you've got your news feed in the middle, and then you've got various information about your profile and other things on the right, and then you've got a chat bar. On the mobile, I think where a lot of people are getting confused is when it shows up on mobile, you don't have that bar on the left. you actually have to click on your avatar image in the top right corner, and then that will show all of the options, so pages, groups, etc. And it's potentially that's not obvious enough yet of how to do that. However, with the imminent app release, I don't think that's going to be an issue. So it should be fine, hopefully. If not, we'll improve the UI and take it from there. We're always improving the platform for the users as well. So.
Well, obviously we will point people in the direction of Detect the Network, but as soon as the app is released, if you can put together some form of press release, and we will be able to publish that through the magazine, and obviously then cascade it through all the groups and such like as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, that would be great. Thanks very much.
Marvellous.
So my wife's just put the radiator, the heating's just gone on. It must be cold, and I just burnt my leg on the radiator. It's not that cold, is it? Scott, I've just got a question. For a club, if a club created a page, obviously, is there a way of only if I created a page like Adrian's Metal Detecting Club, and I wanted members to join that club, is there a way of accepting or declining them?
Yeah, so as opposed to a page, you create a group, and it can be either a public or private group. And whether it's public or private or not, you can accept or reject join requests. So that answers your question there. So that secures that. You would probably set it to private, though, if you wanted to accept join requests. The other thing important to note about groups is you're the admin of the group creator, but you can also assign other people on the platform as group admins, and you can do the same with like pages as well. So it's very similar to Facebook. If your group gets quite large and you need to be able to administer it properly, you're probably going to need a couple more admins with certain privileges. So you've got full privilege control on Detector Network already, and we'll be improving that as well.
So could I, on there, there's the feature I love about it is the instant messenger, like the messaging app, which I've spoken to you about before the show. So if I had a club, could I create a group chat?
Yeah, there's a little icon at the top of the chat bar. There's a little group icon. You'll probably be able to see it there. And you can create a group chat from there. So that exists as well.
Cool. Yeah. Big Metal Detecting Radio TV show.
We've got quite a few groups on there so far, and quite a few like pages as well. So it's good to see that being used. I think that'll be quite valuable in the future.
Well, thanks.
So,
well, I'm having a play now. I'm quite enjoying it on the computer screen as opposed to my phone. It is substantially easier. For anybody, therefore, who is interested, and obviously I will try to manage this as well. We do have the big Metal Detecting Show Detector Network page available, and obviously we'll try and put updates and such like on there as well. And I'll probably also put Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine page together on there as well, which I will basically only share our own articles or metal detecting articles or something that's outstandingly big in the field of archaeology. So you won't be, if you want that, all the information Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine put out, I think we put about 40, 50 different posts a day on of all the worldwide news of natural history, archaeology, anthropology, metal detecting page on Facebook. So as I say, I'll work a little bit this week on such a lovely little site, and we'll do some other bits and bobs with you, Scott.
I think if people
that sounds great. Yeah, and I look forward to releasing more features as well. So, and if anyone has any feedback, it's just important to drive the point home that we do want to offer a personal service to everyone on the platform, and we will listen to all of your feedback.
Personal service.
Consideration features tab, so.
Personal service.
Personal service.
There you go.
Yeah,
look at the face.
Right.
Look at the face. We're not as bad as last week yet. Don't worry.
So yeah, I think that would be quite important.
Yeah.
Yes, Scott. Debate is a Freemason pin on my hat. For I am a Freemason. So there you go. And, pardon?
You're on the square.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am indeed.
Ah.
Darren Booth, thank you. He's just followed me on there. I don't know how to follow people yet, mate. So I have to learn this pretty darn quick.
I
If
found
you click on Explore on the left, you can follow people from there. Or if you type in their name or click on their name, you can click follow.
You're just saying words now. Oh, there you go. Daz followed me. That'll be
There
it.
you
So
go.
Daz followed
Yeah.
me, and how'd you follow him back then?
So if you click
follow.
on his name, click on follow. That's it.
There. We're there. Marvelous. Look
There
at
you
me
go.
getting
You get
old.
the hang of it in no time.
Scott.
I've got all sorts of notifications I didn't know I had. Sorry, carry on, Adrian.
Sorry, Scott. Is there a place? I think I uploaded. If you create a group, can you upload PDFs? What can you upload? Word documents, PDFs, JPEGs, and so I think I uploaded or I shared the router sort of 71 settings from Tony Kaywood the other day on the routers team page on Detector Network. But is there a limit to the type of files you can upload?
There's quite a lot of files enabled. There are only a few that I haven't enabled, so I can put those on the site as well, so it's clear. But anything you need to upload, whether it's audio, video, or documents, all of the major file types are supported. We do have certain file limits, like file size limits, but at the moment they are quite high. So we'll probably need to reduce those a little bit as we get a bigger user base. But for now, it's quite flexible, so it should be fine.
Okay.
Can I ask, as I'm popping around, as you see, I've just gone onto my avatar and it says points 85. What are the points about?
Good question.
So we actually haven't released the points yet. When we do, the idea of points is we want to encourage people to be more active on the platform, because it's better for us and it's better for the community as well. So you'll get points for things such as posting a video, reacting to a post, certain things like that. And the idea behind it is we'll reward people soon, probably monthly or maybe twice monthly, for the people with the highest number of points, with free giveaways and things like that for being active on the platform, which I think is only fair. But we haven't released that yet. But the functionality does exist. We just haven't announced it yet. So
this is going to go completely above your head now, I reckon, Scott. What do points make? Adrian, come on.
Prizes, Dave. Prizes.
that did go over my head.
Good game.
What questions? Is anybody in the chat, any of the viewers, if you'd like to add any questions for me to ask Scott, I'll be more than happy to do that now. One question that has popped up, do you know when the iOS application will be possibly coming out and about?
Yes, so the Android version will be in either a week or just over. It's currently in review. The iOS version will come probably about 2 or 3 weeks after that. So It's about a month off.
Bob Hope also asks, can you create a file section in the left-hand side, please? So that's in your menu.
Yes, we could. If you click on Forum on the left-hand side and go to Feature Requests and put that in there, I'll be sure to pick that up and consider that as well.
There you go, marvelous. So
we find
anybody
that
who does that
use the Forum feature because obviously you have news feeds and everything else. But we've included it in there anyway as a bit of a legacy feature, just in case you want to use it. So
I do like your buzzwords. Legacy feature. I'm going to have to use that in the future myself.
Yeah.
The Dave Sadler legacy feature.
Old, antiquated.
like the Bruce Forsyth joke that you didn't get.
Age.
No, I didn't get that. Price wasn't right.
So we've got no other questions. Carry on, Scott.
Oh, it's so loud. Also, I wanted to say, could I possibly announce we ran a competition recently for some Bennett's books, and I wanted to announce 3 winners. Just pull them out of the hat or the tub. Is that all right to do?
Certainly, yeah. As long as one's Dave Sadler written on it, that's fine. Carry on.
Right, let's have a look. So this was kindly from Green Knight Publishing, 3 Bennett's books. There'll be 3 winners. Thanks very much to everyone that shared it on various social media platforms recently, and also thanks to everyone that signed up so far. So I'll just pull 3 names and then I'll contact you directly for details. First one is Craig Meredith. So he's the first winner.
That's not me, but well done, Craig.
So I'll mix them up again quickly so it's fair. Let's have a look. We have Mad Keen, which is Brad Greenwood from Australia. He's been great on the platform as well. So he's the second winner. Congratulations,
and nice to see that you've got some foreign people coming on board. And that wasn't me either.
We'll have to look at that, Dave. That'll be fine. And then we've got Stephen, the History Rescuer, as the third winner. So thank you very much, guys. I'll be in touch to get your details as well. And again, thank you to Green Knight Publishing as well for supplying those books as well.
Well, that's the last one's actually one of my well-known pseudonyms, so we're all right there.
No worries.
Scott, is there anything else that you'd like to add or talk about before we go?
I think that's mostly everything for now. I mean, our long-term goal really is to be the best social platform for metal detecting worldwide online. And the way that we'll do that is by listening to the user base and just be in continuous improvement mode, really. Improve it, ensure people enjoy it, release the apps and ensure it runs smoothly, act on any issues if they come up quickly and efficiently as well. And we are quite excited over the next few months to be releasing quite a lot of new major features as well as minor ones as well. So yeah, looking forward to it. I hope that you're all enjoying it so far as well.
Well, I will be enjoying it more than I am currently because I've been lazy, as I said. But yeah, it's a fantastic concept, Scott. Congratulations to yourself and Ashley on bringing it to the metal detecting community. And we hope it goes from strength to strength. And I'm sure, Adrian, you will concur with that.
Yeah, I think hats off to you guys for coming up with something a bit like Dave and Luke. Yourself, Dave and Luke, this is pretty cutting edge for the metal detecting community, having the show you've got. And it's really good that you don't get paid thousands of pounds a week or anything like that. You do it in your spare time. And I think it's really good that we've got an online platform now, similar, to just keep promoting our hobby for us to all use. So hats off to you guys. You know, I'm an end user at the end of the day. I'm not involved in all this technological whiz, and I really appreciate you guys doing it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, brilliant. And as I say, I hope it does go from strength to strength. I know by the looks of it, you've had 1 or 2 people sign up already this evening during the show. So I hope we've brought it to the public perception a little bit more tonight. And obviously we will assist as much as we can in the coming weeks too.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much. And likewise as well, if you need anything, just let me know.
I'm sure I will. Apart from obviously my pseudonym winning books. So anyway, Scott, it's been a pleasure to speak to you tonight and get to know all about Detector Network. Ashley in the chat room, thank you for popping in with a few bits as well. Adrian, thank you again for coming on.
Pleasure, next week, thank you very much.
Next week, Adrian isn't on.
No. Detective.
Next week we have Mr. Scotty B coming on to give us all the updates on Detectorcon and other North of Time metal detecting group bits and bobs as well. So again, thank you both to Scott and to Adrian and to all the viewers tonight, both on Facebook, on YouTube, and now also on Detector Network, which I'm going to look out and get into it a little bit more. Thanks to Luke, as ever, in the background for producing the show. I really enjoyed myself tonight, and see you all next week, Thursday at 8 p.m. Good night, everybody.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.